good morning. Welcome to day 4 of the coaching extravaganza. I'm Allegra at allegrastein.com. You can find out more about this week at the extravaganza page, which is linked below. Many thanks and hellos to those of you who've been following along. I have loved your comments and questions that have been coming through, and I'm excited about today's conversation. Let me go back to my whiteboard. If you watched, hopefully you've watched kind of day 1, 2, and 3, days 1, 2, and 3, because they give a bit more foundation and background to what I'm going to share today. But certainly if this is your first watch, I think you'll also find it relevant. Okay, going back to the whiteboard. I'm trying to figure out the best angle so that you can see my head and see the whiteboard, but I'm not sure if it's possible. So if I end up like this, half face, just sorry about that. Okay, so we talked the other day about, or what we've been talking about, the entire general idea around all this, there we go, is that you've got all your thinking up at the surface, right? And down deep within is this beautiful quiet center of well-being and knowing and calm and peace. And when you're in this place, when you're willing to spend time kind of in this just centered, peaceful, knowing place, you are able to spot these well springs and unlimited thermal vents, I call them. Thermal vents, again, come from this place down here that's a bit of a mystery. Some people call this place the mind, others people call it the universe or God. Wherever you believe or want to play with the idea as far as where this wisdom comes from is a very personal, internal one. But I think we can all agree that every so often you have an idea almost out of nowhere. You're spending time in this quiet zone and then you're like, oh, I know what to do. We call it an aha moment or an insight or a fresh idea. It's not there 1 minute and then it's there another. So the first thing I wanted to share in regards to this idea is that it's okay not to know what to do next. And the more comfortable you are in the space of not knowing, the more likely you are to find the answer. And I know that seems a bit paradoxical, especially if you are used to thinking your way to a solution. But imagine for a second that there's a little submersible down here, a little ocean submersible with its little propeller. And you're in your little submersible looking for these thermal vents and you can't find one. And you feel this pressure. People are like, you gotta find it. When are you gonna get the next idea? You can do a couple of things. You can go back to the surface and you can rise up to the top and you can get back into the waves and talk with people and negotiate and strategize and try and figure out what you're gonna do next. Or you can trust that by staying in this quiet, centered place is where you are going to find the next idea. So I know that can be hard. And for some of you, it might be like, no, I can't relax when I don't know what to do. When I don't know what to do, I need to freak out and I need to think a lot. And I'm suggesting, well, what if you didn't? What if you trusted that moment that happens when you're taking a shower or when you're in the car or when you go on a hike, and all of a sudden you just stopped thinking about the stuff you normally think about, and that's when you come up with it. That's when you have the new idea or you remember the thing that you'd forgotten before. So that is not a fluke. That's how you're designed to work. You're designed to spot those new ideas when you're just relaxed about it and okay in that space of not knowing what to do next. I want to put out there that when I say creative thinking and creativity, I simply mean fresh ideas. And those can be ideas around problems with your business, about how to better connect with your partner, about ways to serve your children or connect with yourself or write a new song. So creativity is really just fresh thinking around whatever part of your life you'd like to feel more invigorated in. Another idea I'd like to share around this is that you can create your life from both places. You can create your life from up here, or you can create your life from down here. I met this woman the other day who's very successful. She's done a lot of amazing things. She's pulled together and driven and doing great work. And just by asking her about her typical day, we found out that she spends almost every waking hour up here. So if I draw again, like the head and the body, she is up here a lot. From the moment she wakes up to the moment she goes to sleep, she is thinking and gathering input and learning and listening to things. And even despite that, she's still creating amazing things. So this isn't about like changing what the output is, but to ask yourself, and I asked her, that's amazing. I love that you can create so much from up here. What would it be like then? What potential are you missing out on by not exploring what would happen if you created from this place? Because down here it's like infinite ideas, infinite possibilities. And it was really neat to watch her consider that idea, like, oh, I can relax and slow down and still bring amazing things to life. And I just want to put that in your wheelhouse, that you can create a life from up here. It just tends to feel more overwhelming, a bit more stressful, a bit more fast, sometimes a lot more fast and a lot more stressful. Or you can create from down here. And I also believe that when you create from these two different places, you're creating a different life for yourself. So that's just something to toss around. Another thing to think about is that there is oftentimes more than one answer. There's oftentimes more than two answers. I love it when someone says, well, I could either do this or this. I have to do this or this, and there are two things. And one of my favorite things to ask is, well, what if it wasn't either of those? What if neither one of those was the thing that you really want to be doing? And that doesn't mean you're going to know what the next thing is, but around those places in your life where you feel like you have a very tight grip on your story, and that usually shows up when someone says, like, you just don't know how it is, Allegra. This is just how it is. This is my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's where I most love to kind of like stick my fingers in and say, what if it wasn't? Like, what if there's another possibility? What if you just haven't had the idea yet that is going to feel right to you? And that's something else that's important, is that ideas from down here, you feel them. You know you've hit on something that is yours and that is insightful and a capital T thought when you almost can't help but take action on it. There is no thinking about it. You're not up in your head and trying to force yourself to make something happen. So let's say you want to build a website and you're thinking, I have to do a blog. I've got to make a blog. Everyone blogs. I should have a blog. That is all chatter up here. What if I don't have a blog? Will people take me seriously, right? You can watch yesterday's video about all the thinking that drives us crazy. That is different than a moment, which may come somewhere in the future, the more willing you are to just relax about your stories about it, where all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm going to do a blog. I know exactly what I'm going to write about. And you just start writing. There's no thinking. It's not for any other purpose than you just love the idea and you want to do something about it. So keep that kind of working around there as well. Are you trying to create from a place that's up here out of obligation and fear and should thoughts? Or are you honoring and creating space within your mind to listen for what's coming up from below in your magical, beautiful, wisdom-filled thermal vents? Now, someone asked me, well, how do I deal with what other people are going to think? Like, I have these amazing ideas, but then I get stopped by other people's thinking. And I encourage you to watch yesterday's video about all the thoughts and to realize that none of that is true. That all of that storytelling about what other people are going to think is none of your business, nor is it within your control, nor does it mean anything. Your life is yours to live, and operating more and more frequently from this place will simply feel better and produce tremendous results in a way that's much different than what you think you maybe can create from up top. Okay. Thank you for being here. I will be live today, Thursday the 14th from 12 to 1 Eastern. So if this video has triggered any insights or questions, please feel free to come by and visit. The link is on the extravaganza page. And you can also sign up there if you want the daily roundups and to stay in the loop about other things that are coming up. I am so glad that you are here. Leave your comments below. Feel free to share away, and I will see you tomorrow.